we are all what I would call subjective, emotional beings, right? We are all emotional beings, okay? Our early life experiences, the culture we grew up in, every one of us, and I know a lot of us grew up in different cultures. The one thing that's similar about people our age is we grew up with pretty much with boomer parents, right? Parents from a similar generation whose parents, like our parents' parents, went through the wars, right? One or both of the wars, right? So we grew up in this kind of like culture that was sparked by that, right? And that ingrained ideas in us and beliefs in us about how the world works, about our identity, about who we are in this crazy thing called the world on this crazy rock that's spinning in space, right? And our experiences and our culture and the ideas that were ingrained in us created benchmarks, created standards on which we judge situations, right? We could call these our shoulds, our supposed tos. And these benchmarks drive how we perceive reality. Okay. So every one of us in this Zoom room right now is having a different experience. Okay. So this is what's really important, right? There's one person in the Zoom room who's talking right now. There's, I don't know how many of you are here. There's 15 of you who are here, hopefully listening, possibly answering emails on another screen, possibly scrolling social media, right? There's, it's obviously different time zones for everybody, but everyone, like the objective facts are one person's talking, 15 people are listening. We're talking about mindset stuff. This is what's actually happening. But subjectively, right? Some of you are like, this is awesome. This guy's great. This is exactly what I need to hear. Some of you are like, oh, yeah, okay, this is kind of cool. I'm kind of doing something different. And some of you are like, this guy's an absolute quack. How do I get off this call? Right? Which is totally okay, by the way. So on a deeper level, right, we all have different definitions in our own heads of what certain words mean and what certain things are happening, right? We may be triggered by certain things that are said or turned off for some reason. These are all perspectives on what's happening, right? We have what's happening and we have perspectives on what's happening. Okay, so there's 16 different perspectives on this Zoom call right now, based on our life experiences, based on the lens through which each of us views the world. So how can we become objective observers of what is happening around us so we can make decisions and solve problems that give us a higher likelihood of a more positive outcome? Because that's all we really need, right? We need to be able to make decisions that give us a higher likelihood of a positive outcome. Right? And we know, right, as Caesar said there, right, the more I fail, the less I fail, right? That's a shift. That's a different perspective than a lot of us have had in the past. When I was playing hockey, when I was in school, I mean, every one of us who went to school, that Caesar wrote in the chat is a lie based on what school tells us. If you fail in school, you fail, right? This is the problem with that system. The more you fail, the more you fail. Right? Whereas in reality, in business and success and everything that we try and do, what Caesar says is true. We have to shift that perspective. Right? So I think what I want to do today is I want you guys to, like, becoming an objective observer of your own life more than anything allows you to receive feedback faster and change your behavior based on that feedback. Right? Now, this is really difficult because we are really emotionally connected to our own lives, right? We are very emotionally connected to everything that's going on, right? Not necessarily a bad thing, but we allow our emotions to cause us to react, especially when things don't go well. We judge everything based on those internal benchmarks, right? But being able to view a situation without emotional attachment to it is the secret sauce, okay? Without emotional attachment. So how do we actually become this objective observer? So let me just pull up my notes here. So there's really 4 steps here. The first one is we've got to just develop this base level of mindfulness. Now, a lot of you guys that have been here, we have been building those tools for you, developing a level of mindfulness. Okay. Then we need to be able to consider that there's a lot of different perspectives and that we can hold a lot of different perspectives as well. Then we become compassionate to the other points of view. right? We recognize, well, this is a point of view, this is a point of view, this is a point of view, this is a point of view. And then we gather all the facts and make the decisions. Okay. And we can do this pretty quickly in a situation, but let me kind of take you through this. So mindfulness. Okay. What is mindfulness? It's a state of being conscious or being aware of something. Okay. More specifically, it's a mental state achieved by focusing your awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting your feelings, thoughts, and sensations, accepting everything that's going on around you, right? Mindfulness sounds a lot like objectivity, right? Being objective, right? We're aware of what's going on and we acknowledge what's happening inside of us. Okay, if we break it down, there's lots of ways we can improve this skill of mindfulness. Okay, the most obvious one that I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking of when we talk about mindfulness is like meditation, right? But there's also intentional breathing. There was a great podcast, this was a long time ago, where Tim Ferriss was interviewing like a monk. And he's like, okay, of a lot of people who like biohackers and all these people, what's the best meditation in the world? And the monk said, one mindful breath. Just taking one intentional breath. Because if everyone can do that, we can all do it right now. This brings us back into the present moment, right? It gets us out of all the worrying craziness that's happening around us. Intentional breathing. Journaling your thoughts is a great way to practice mindfulness. Okay, I've introduced a lot of you guys to my daily vibe check, right? The emotional regulation thing. It takes like 3 minutes. Breath work, if you've ever done that. Ice baths, cold plunges. Basically, we're developing the skill of acknowledging our feelings and thoughts. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm not talking crazy talk here. Developing the skill of acknowledging our feelings and thoughts and accepting them too. So once you recognize there are lots of different perspectives. So I told a lot of you guys, so yesterday my wife announced that we were pregnant, and the reason she announced it is because we had a baby shower. Do you guys do that in the UK? Baby shower, where they shower you with gifts? Yeah, okay. I know some things are different over there. So anyway, we had this like kind of like a party to celebrate. Now, my dad, we call him the Sarge. Okay, my dad is a former police officer, very strict, lots of rules, wants things to be a certain way. So we hosted this thing, and it was like we said to all our friends, bring your kids, let's have fun, let's just have a great day. And we wanted them to be outside playing on the playground, but it was like really hot here yesterday. So they were kind of stuck inside this community center. So they were all like on this little stage we have in this community center, and they were just going freaking crazy, running around, throwing stuff. And my wife and I and a lot of us were like, this is awesome. Like the kids are finding a way to play, even though they're not outside, they're having fun, no one's getting hurt, it's great. My dad, on the other hand, is sitting there and he's like, I thought we said that they were supposed to be outside. And like, I thought that these kids, like we said, they shouldn't be on the stage, like they're not supposed to be there. And like, they shouldn't be screaming like that inside. Like what's going on? And it's like these two completely different perspectives on the same event, right? Me, my wife, a bunch of other people are like, this is so awesome. And my dad's like, we can't be having this. What's going on? This is not good, right? And actually my cousin, it was pretty funny. I was sitting across from my cousin when he was saying this, and my cousin just like leaned over to me. She's like, this is what therapy's for. This is why you go to therapy, because our parents are like this, you know? So you can see that there's different perspectives on the exact same event, okay? The truth is, all events are neutral. Let me remind you of that. Let me say that again. All events are neutral. It's our beliefs and the lens through which we're viewing it that changes the way that we consume things, that changes the way we think about those events. Okay? So if you reflect on your beliefs and what we've talked about, your beliefs and your thoughts and all that stuff, and I'll give you an even better opportunity to do that in a bit. Not whether your beliefs are right or wrong or good or bad, right? I think we would probably agree that my dad's beliefs were maybe wrong, but at the same time, it was pretty loud in there. Those kids were going pretty crazy. Someone was bound to get hurt. No one did get hurt, which is good. So maybe he wasn't wrong. It was just a different perspective, right? And I want you to consider not right, wrong, good, bad, but are these the only perspectives and the only truths available? And then also, are these truths and these beliefs serving me right now? And so if we recognize there's a whole bunch of different perspectives on the same event, then we can try on some different perspectives, test them out, figure out which is the most in alignment with you and which one's going to help you win. Right? Does that make sense? So we develop this mindfulness and this recognition, and then we recognize there are different perspectives. There are lots of different perspectives. And we can ask this question like, is my perspective of this situation serving me right now? Or is it not? Okay? Then we can have compassion for everybody's different perspective, right? I don't have to agree with my dad or even understand his point of view on that situation, but I can recognize where he's coming from. He is an order guy. He wants things to be organized. He doesn't want chaos. He needs things to be in line. This is the way my dad works, right? So it totally makes sense that he would be like, no, you guys can't be doing this like unorganized play. It has to be more organized, right? So in having compassion, what you can do is you can put yourself in other people's shoes, right? I remember one of my clients in the past, he was an older client, and he was getting in lots of arguments with his wife, and he couldn't understand his wife's perspective. He's just like, it just doesn't make sense why she would think this way. And I asked him, what if you put yourself in your wife's shoes? What do you think is happening right now? Where do you think she's coming from? He's like, well, she's probably really scared right now. Yeah, she's probably scared, and that's probably why she's acting this way. Right? We do this, we talk about this. I'm sure Joe talks about this a lot when it comes to sales and the mindset you have around sales. Can you be compassionate of the fact that the other person has never succeeded in this fitness thing before? And if they have, they've fallen off the wagon really fast. And they're probably scared shitless that you're asking them to pay to do something, and you're asking them to hold themselves to a higher standard. So now we can understand why they start going, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to get off this call, because they're freaking out. It's like, that's okay. It's totally okay. I have compassion for where you're coming from. I've been scared in the past too. And then we can go from there. Okay? Then we've cleared out, all the messy stuff. Okay? They're blocking the view. We can get logical. Okay? Does anybody here remember the post? So there was a post made a while ago by Alex Hormozi. I know a lot of you guys follow him, where he talked about what he uses as a gym bag. Does anybody remember that post? If you do, pop off mute. What does Hormozi use as a gym bag?
It's like a toolbox or something?
It's basically a toolbox. It's like a tool bag. Okay? And so it's this funny moment where he's working out with this podcaster, and they're obviously filming it because his whole life is filmed. And they ask him, why do you use that? He's like carrying this tool bag around the gym. It's got like a bunch of shit in it. They're like, why do you use that? And he's like, well, it does everything I need to do better than any gym bag, and it's going to last forever. And someone commented on the post, Hormozi is logic in human form. And he is, right? There's something here. When you remove the things you think you're supposed to do and the shoulds and all these things, and you've tried on all these different options and tried on all these different perspectives, you're left with facts, objective facts that have no emotional connection. And this is how you can make the best decision possible. Like using a tool bag for a gym bag, or he wears these like kind of croc-like shoes everywhere because he's like, I can wear them in the gym, I can wear them on walks, I can wear them to expensive restaurants because the toes are closed. They're the perfect shoe. My wife, when I try and wear my Crocs anywhere other than like to the gym, she freaks out on me because they look like shit. I will agree, but I love my Crocs. And I'm like, they're a versatile shoe, especially when you turn the thing back and you put them in sport mode, which I call it sport mode. When you put the thing behind your heel, then you can basically do sprints in those things, right? So, and I think Hormozi actually has a post on his shoes. He has a post on why he wears the same clothes every day, all that stuff, right? It's a logical decision. It's made based on fact. It's made based on what he wants. He doesn't care about how he looks. He doesn't care about any of that. And in that, there's like value in that, right? Because he's like, I want the most versatile and the easiest clothes possible so that I can go and live my life the way I want to live it. Okay, so we're going to test this theory. Okay, I want to push the envelope here. I want you to write down something you strongly disagree with. Let's not share this, by the way. because we might have some different political beliefs in this group, and there's a lot of political unrest right now in certain places in the world. Braden, just saying. But I want you to write down something you strongly disagree with. Okay? Think politics, think, laws, think taxes, think government, right? What do you strongly disagree with? We're not here to have an argument about those things. I think we all agree taxes suck, but I want you to write down that. And we're gonna test the theory. I'm gonna make you guys do this for yourselves. Just comment 1 in the chat. It wasn't a tool bag, Reese? Something else? Comment a 1 in the chat when you guys are done. But when you guys have something. Oh, you said it was a tool bag, wasn't it? That's right. Okay. Okay, you guys, a lot of you guys have something. Okay. So then I want you guys to apply what we just discussed. Okay. So first one is mindfulness. So you just wrote down something you disagree with. What I want you to ask now is why? Where did that come from? Where did your beliefs about this thing come from? Again, there's no wrong answers here. I'm not testing you. I just want you guys to ask why. Some of you might have a holy shit moment here and go, because my parents told me. And that's okay, as long as we become aware of it. I had a lot of those. Just had these beliefs because they were that's just the way it was. So why do you disagree with that? Then I want you to write down, what are some different opinions people have on this? So this thing you disagree with, maybe what's the other side saying, or just are there several different opinions that people might have on this thing? For the example from my dad yesterday, my dad strongly disagreed with the kids running around and screaming inside. Whereas some people were like, this is amazing, right? They had the complete opposite. Whereas other people might have been like, I'm totally cool with them running around and stuff, but maybe if they just weren't on the stage where they could get hurt, or maybe if they were just a little quieter, right? There's several different perspectives on this same event. Drop a 2 in the chat when you have at least one different opinion from yours. One opinion that's different from yours. Preferably we get more of it. Awesome. Okay. The next one is the one that will trip a lot of people up. Can you take it a step further and find some compassion for the other perspective? Can you put yourself in their shoes? And just think, where might they be coming from? What might their reasoning be as to why they believe that thing that's different from what I believe? This is the fun part. This is, slight digression. This is where social media has become a really interesting thing with the algorithm, right? Because if we take politics, for example, and how the American political system has just two separate parties, right? It's if you have a belief about something, let's say you're a Republican or you have Republican-based beliefs, you don't even really need to understand this, you folks in the UK. When you're constantly getting fed that information, the same information, this is why people go, I can't believe that someone would think something else. And the other side is doing the same thing because they're constantly being fed the same information that aligns with their beliefs. And guys, this is what our brains do too, if we're not careful. Our reticular activating system, remember we've talked about that, that's the thing that tells our conscious brain what to focus on. It's constantly looking for evidence that aligns with what we believe. So it's really hard to see other perspectives. So it's really hard to make an objective decision based on all the information. We just make these decisions based on what's already in our head without even thinking about it. Now, I'm not saying your belief sets are wrong. I'm just saying, can we make a more objective, conscious decision, intentional decision, based on all the different perspectives and options? Okay, so now if we strip away all the rules, so we've become aware of the why, we've shared some different perspectives, we've tried to put ourselves in the shoes of another perspective. Let's get logical. Strip away the rules. What do the logic and facts say? Now, this is obviously still going to be swayed by your belief set. But if we strip away all the rules and we have all these different perspectives, what do the facts say? The facts say that a tool bag is better than a gym bag, period. The facts say that Crocs are the most versatile shoe, period. Just kidding, maybe not. What do the facts say? This doesn't have to be perfect. There's no right or wrong answer here. Just testing this theory.